Good morning. This is a special presentation of the Jim Vincent Show. As most of you know, I'm the president of the NAACP Providence Branch, and on Friday, October 28th, we had our annual Freedom Fund dinner. We had a great keynote speaker in Bankley Thompson, publisher of the Michigan Chronicle, and we had 7 very deserving award winners. We had Gertrude Jones, Cheryl Burrell, Linda Newton, Julius Kalalaway, Louis Lopes, Jorge Cardenas, and my predecessor, Cliff Montero. So we're going to show you some clips of that fabulous evening, and we hope you enjoy them.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the NAACP Providence Branch Freedom Fund Dinner. I am going to introduce our Mistress of Ceremony, Audrey Washington.
Okay, next we're going to move along and bring up Jim Vincent. Just in case you guys don't know who Jim Vincent is, and I know that's a lot of you guys because he's just a complete stranger to everyone. Jim Vincent, just some background, is the president of the NAACP Providence Branch. He served in this capacity for the past 10 months. He has spent his entire career working in housing, community development, and civil rights, both in Rhode Island and Massachusetts. Since March 1998, he has served as the manager of constituent advocacy at Rhode Island Housing, the state's housing finance agency. He's the host of the award-winning show, Jim Vincent Show, a public affairs television program. We're going to go ahead and bring up now Jim Vincent.
Welcome. This has been a stressful month for the NAACP Providence Branch. We are an all-volunteer organization, no paid staff, and to put people in the room like this says a lot about you, but it says a lot about the people that are volunteering for the NAACP. I want to thank Audrey Washington for being our Mistress of Ceremonies tonight. NBC 10, did she do a good job so far? Should we keep her for the rest of the night? Keep her? I'll see no thumbs up. Okay. RPM Voices, are they great or what? RPM Voices. Now, I'd like to thank Pastor Shaw of the Ministerial Alliance for being here. He's so dedicated to the community with that MLK breakfast every January that we all go to. I'd like to thank my bishop, Bishop Farrell, for being here because he's always a champion of the community. Let's hear it for Bishop Farrell. Reverend Clergy comes first. Sorry, Congressman Cicilline, my friend, Congressman Cicilline. We call it NAACP. It's the New England NAACP. My boss is President Juan Cofield. Sit for Juan Cofield. The second vice president, Lisa Wrangling. Sit for Lisa Wrangling. I was in Detroit on a black Jewish mission. We have some people here, Marty Cooper, Scott, I don't know if Scott's here, but Marty's here. We were on a black Jewish mission in Detroit. And I'm telling you, when I met this young man, it just blew me away. A young man of 32 years old, I hope you don't mind me saying that is already a national figure. Already a national figure. When he goes to the White House, President Obama, Bankley, hey, where you been? What's happening? Already. I mean, and you're going to see what I saw in Detroit in a few minutes. So I thank you, Bankley, for coming from Detroit to be our keynote speaker. We have one of the most active youth councils. Our youth is so important here in Rhode Island as well as across the country. Shimika Moore and Melissa Husband will be coming up and talking about that. So for those of you who are not familiar with the NAACP, you got to get familiar. We're the biggest and the baddest, the oldest and the boldest civil rights organization in America today, yesterday, and the other day. We all know it. We all know it. We all know it. And I think that's why you're here. But we want to keep you. We want to keep you as far as the NAACP family, and we're going to make sure we entertain you tonight. But please listen to everything that people say because knowledge is going to take us to the next level. We have so many problems. They talk about the disparity gaps, you know, in health and education. If there's a gap, we're part of it, right? I mean, you know, name a gap that we're not in a disparity that's positive. None. All right? So we have a crisis in this country. We have a crisis here in Rhode Island, and we're going to fix it. Our award recipients. I'm quickly going to name them. They're household names in most communities. Jorge Cardenas, who knows? Everybody knows Jorge. Everybody loves Jorge. In the African community, who doesn't know Julius Kalalawe? Nobody. Everybody knows that my family's from Cape Verde Islands, Dinos Creole. Who amongst Dinos Creole doesn't know Louis Lopes from Cape Verde? Everybody in Cape Verde knows him. And then we have the sisters. Sorry, brothers, but the sisters are always the leaders, and I'm not trying to sell out or anything like that, but you know what I'm talking about, right? Right, sisters? The sisters are the leaders almost every single time when anything happens, and then we brothers, we appreciate that. So we've located, the committee have located 3 of the baddest sisters, and you know what I mean by baddest, in the land, in Rhode Island. It's not funny. Who can debate that when you talk about the sisters here in Rhode Island and you're honoring Gertrude Jones, Cheryl Burrell, and get this, Linda Newton, that we haven't picked the best and the brightest in the state. That's what I'm talking about. That's what's up, right, Bankley? That's what's up? That's what's up. That's what's up. And last but not least, my predecessor, who cannot be here because of an illness. You know, he's not feeling good, and he didn't want to be among a whole lot of people, but without him guiding me for the last 7 years and also this past 10 months, he's a silent partner. He's done so much to help me. He's done so much for the Rhode Island community. He's been in civil rights for 50 years. He marched on the Mall in 1963 and heard Martin Luther King. He was a freedom rider. He's done so much. You're going to hear more about that, you know, in the program. But, you know, I could not be standing in front of you without giving the Lifetime Achievement Award to Cliff Montero. Cliff Montero. So I thank you, and I thank you, and enjoy the program.
So I was sitting in my bed. I'm going to do a little disclosure. I was sitting in my bed, minding my own business. And I was like, you know what? I should watch this because this is important. So I'm going to watch it. And I know that when these kind of speeches happen, it's you know, all these very important people there and yada, yada, yada. And I saw Congressman Cicilline reach in and get that handshake from Barack Obama, and I know that takes a lot of tenacity. You got to be in the right place at the right time. Very good. And so I was very proud of my congressman when I saw him do that. So let's all welcome Congressman Cicilline.
I thought Audrey was going to say, you know, there were a lot of really important people there, and then I saw David Cicilline. A big round of applause for Jim and all the great volunteers. I also want to recognize Senator Metz, who is here, and my senior colleague in the House, Congressman Landrum, was here earlier, Judge Clifton, and many other dignitaries. It's wonderful to be here with all of you tonight. The NAACP was born out of a recognition that racial discrimination was causing economic, social, and political injustice in this country. We're living in a time, frankly, where the voices of the NAACP and your advocacy and your strength is needed more now than ever in any time, I believe, in the history of our country. Because we're living in a time where for many Americans, and particularly Americans of color, the hope of realizing the American dream is really in peril. And if it is ever to be reignited, if we're ever to reignite the American dream and give people the opportunity to realize their full potential and the opportunity to have a good job and raise a family and have access to a good education, it's going to be because of outside advocacy from groups like the NAACP. Thank you for being part of this organization. Thank you for your advocacy. Congratulations to tonight's honorees. Each one of these individuals has done so much alone, and as a group, it's almost impossible to describe, to promote justice and equality in our state and in our country. And so congratulations on your well-deserved honors. Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome our keynote speaker, Bankalo Thompson.
We stand on the pillars of those who have come before us, and tonight I am here, among other things, to say thank you for laying down the foundation for us all. It is delightful this evening to be in the company of men and women committed to addressing the greater questions of justice, equity, and human rights. Your existence tonight affirms the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, which asserts, among other things, that in fact, every human being is born free, equal in dignity and right. America is at a crossroads where men and women who call themselves justice advocates, truth seekers, and forces of transformation must double up to meet the challenges and the forces who want us to believe that, in fact, America is all right. We now live in a colorblind society, and therefore we must now go to sleep. You can choose to live in that illusion, but I choose not. America is not fine as long as what happened in the Troy Davis case in Georgia continues to put a stain on the criminal justice system, a system that has been found wanting in cases where defendants are mostly poor people of color. Just as we saw in the Troy Davis case, where majority of the witnesses recanted their testimonies, and major law enforcement officers in this nation doubted his conviction. If poor people of color cannot find sanctuary before the United States Supreme Court, the highest court in the land, that is supposed to be the final arbiter of justice, where else can they find sanctuary for justice and redress? Where is the pursuit for equal justice under the law? Politicians understand the power of numbers, hence the popular phrase, the numbers game. And therefore, when you build a multicultural coalition based on shared interests and common agenda, politicians will begin to show up at your meetings, even when they are not invited. They will be calling to attend the Freedom Fund dinner because they understand that your meetings reflect the vast diversity of the cultural and socioeconomic landscape in Providence. You can no longer fight the battles alone. Don't make the mistake of standing on your own. You need to reach out to communities of shared interest and common struggle. It is in your interest. It is in the future of the NAACP, if it must survive in the future, to move beyond the traditional lines of operation, move beyond your confines and embrace other communities. There is currency in numbers, and now is the time to seize that currency and to affirm America's promise. I have no excuse here tonight, and I hope you have no excuse. So together we can affirm America's promise. Thank you.
We are truly excited to announce that the Youth Council has been reactivated with over 25 members, which the national requires that we have 25 members, and we currently have 29, and additionally to some other members who come and participate. Members are between the age of 6 and 18, and since the reactivation, Melissa and I have been striving to educate our members on leadership, like inventors, creativity, team building, and understanding that labeling people is unacceptable.
We are teaching our youth about our past so they can understand where we come from and the struggles that people had to go to in order for us to have the amenities that we have today. And it has been amazing to see these children understand where we come from, and that Black people really have had a serious impact on our communities and in our country.
As you can see, I am a part of the NAACP Youth Council, and I really like it. I say this because it is a nice environment for young adults, kids, and teens like myself. We get to meet new people and do activities together.
He works with Sodexo, but his real passion is education. So without further ado, I want to bring up my friend, your friend, everybody's friend, Jorge Cardenas.
To be recognized for doing what loves is always like having two desserts. The service that I can contribute to our community is part of who I am, and it's a part of how I live my life. In my case, I owe a great deal of this recognition to the company I work for, Sodexo School Services. I would like also recognize my many colleagues in the great state of Rhode Island who together form a great circle of people committed to making our state a better place for our community. To my friends at Latino Dollar for a Scholar, ARP, Urban Lee, John Hope, and many others, thank you for your commitment and friendship. It is not important how much money you have in the bank or to drive a nice car or to have the most beautiful house, but the most important thing is to know what you did to make the life of a child better. Thank you very much.
Now, it says in the book that he's been an engineer, an electrical engineer for 30 years, the last 21 years, National Grid, and I know he teaches, but that's not why this young man is being honored tonight. He is here because probably nobody else in this state that is from continental Africa has the reputation of this young man that I'm getting ready to introduce. He was one of the 8 co-founders of Oasis International. Now, for those who don't know about Oasis International, and I'm a member, that's a group that's located in South Providence doing great things in the community. They had a credit union, they do some other things. He was a founder, he was the first president. But if that wasn't enough, he founded a group that was beyond the Nigerian or the South Province community called the African Alliance of Rhode Island. I'm here with the committee honoring Julius Kalalaway because he is the man with the vision. And it takes vision to do what he's done.
Good evening to you, fellow Africans. I think it was said many years ago, I think it is true today, that as we march with NAACP, as the future looks bright, we all have to continue to pray for the NAACP. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, sir. If it wasn't for Luis da Silva Lopes, the community died, the 45,000 Cape Verdeans in Rhode Island would almost know nothing about what's going on. So Luis Lopes has been a very important person in this community of Rhode Island because he has made a very huge segment of our population of color aware of what's going on. He is at every single event that I know of in terms of a Cape Verdean event. He was, when I was the host of Now's the Time, George Castro's show, he was our director, so I've worked with him in the past. He spent 12 years at NBC 10 working. And this man is a truly great professional when it comes to media, and he's so humble, so humble. Now, before we give him the award, there's a letter. I'm not going to read it, but it comes from, I will just say the first paragraph. I take great pride in NAACP's decision to grant Luis Lopes the George Lima Award in recognition of his unrelenting efforts to empower the Cape Verdean community through an improved access to reliable information and his coordination to promoting the Cape Verdean culture in the USA. Signed, Maria de Fatima Lima de Vega, Ambassador of Cape Verde to the United States of America.
You all know that when we first start coming to these countries in the Caribbean, America, they all came through Cape Verde first. So that makes us all Cape Verdeans here tonight. I want to start by saying a special thank to our Consul General of Cape Verde, Mr. Pedro Graciano, for taking his time from his busy schedule from Boston to be here with us tonight representing the Cape Verdean government. And also a special thank you to the Ambassador of Cape Verde, Fatima Vega. I want to express my gratitude to the NAACP for this great honor. I feel truly privileged to receive this award, especially because it is in the name of George S. Lima. During this 20 years of doing Nobi.TV and other programs that I'm involved with, I did not do it by myself. I want to make sure I remember to thank especially my family. My mother first, and then I'm going to have to mention the lady in my life. She's here with me today. You should give a round of applause today. I think I'm going to do all right tonight. And also the Nobi.TV team, the radio crew, everybody that participated with me throughout this time. If you see those bright lights and you see all the people behind it, they are all volunteers from Nobi.TV, NAACP, the Jim Vincent Show, that give out their time for free to do shows with us. We need more people like them. I'm going to mention a few names that's in the house tonight. Ron Tunstall, Xavier, David, William, Peter, Napoleon, Hex, Amadeus Medi, Nelson. I just want to thank NAACP for this great honor, and thank you all very much for being here tonight with us.
George S. Lima, of course, who passed away earlier this year, a former president of the NAACP, as well as numerous other things that we all know of who know the state. And the first recipient of the George S. Lima Award was myself, but the first recipient from Cape Verde, and George S. Lima was Cape Verdean, is of course our own Louis Lopes. And a private thought was that I never knew I could do this job. You know, even when Cliff was saying, you know, you can do it, I wasn't sure. The day I knew I could do this job is when George Lima came to me, and I could see how excited he was that I was the new president. And when I saw that, that's when I knew I could do this job, because George was the kind of person that if he didn't think you could do something, he'd tell you. So when he was so enthusiastic, there's only then that I knew that I could do this. So George S. Lima, that's an important award for us, and I'm glad that Louis Lopes is this year's recipient. This young lady, you know, is so important in our community because she just doesn't say no to anybody. She says yes to everything because she loves her community. Without further ado, she's going to get the front row. You got the front row, Gertrude Jones. Gertrude Jones of Life's Man. Let's hear it.
Praise God. Praise God. 10 years later, and when I looked right at the name of the program, it was Affirming America's Promise. Well, I am your promise, right? I have affirmed what you all are trying to do, and you know, they say it's really not about me. It's really not about me. I am just a symbol of the promise that America has promised us. So I hope that as I take my second Ida B. Wells Bonnet Award back, and if you look right in pictures of me sitting in my office, the plaque is right there. So now I'll have two.
But they look different.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
But there's something I want to say, because it's the National Association of the Advancement of Colored People, and I know I have my Southeast Asian family here from Cambodia and Laos. My Southeast Asian family. Where's my Southeast Asian family? Right here. They're here. Where's my Southeast Asian family? Native American family. They're here. And we know we have my Jewish community. We have my progressive community. Jewish community. Where are they at? They're over there. Progressive community. We're all one family here in Rhode Island. She is the diversity director of the state of Rhode Island, and she is the immediate past president of the Rhode Island Coalition of 100 Black Women. All right? The sisters are really strong here in Rhode Island, and I understand that. I get it. So without further ado, I'm bringing up my dear friend from East Providence, Cheryl Burrell. Come on up here, Cheryl, my friend. Before Cheryl comes up and speaks, I want to say that all the award winners are getting citations from the governor, Congressman Langerman, Congressman Cicilline, Senator Whitehouse, and I think Mayor Tavares. In East Providence, the mayor of the city, there's a special citation that she's getting tonight from the mayor of who's the head of the City Council of East Providence for all the work that she does as the director of diversity for the state, but also as an East Providence resident.
Let me begin by giving honor to God, because I don't do anything without Him. I also want to thank my family for being here tonight. My mom, Dorothy Laughlin, who is an exceptionally wonderful woman. I am actually one of 10 children, and I want you to know that we have the most lovely mom. Ma, thank you for being here tonight. What we do is challenging work, but what we do, we cannot do alone. We do what we do together. Okay? I'm not here because of the work that I've done. I'm here because I have been fortunate to work with some very powerfully strong individuals over the years that have empowered me to be who I am today. Most recently, and I'm going to call some folks out, I hope you don't mind. I mean, I saw Judge Ed Clifton in the House. I also saw Senator Metz here. Judge Aviles here from the District Court. Judge, we need powerhouses like this, people who are willing to stand up and give voice to the concerns that affect our community. And I feel honored and privileged to be amongst these individuals and to be empowered by them and to be able to support them in what they do.
You know, together with the Black Heritage Society, you know, just giving it their all, with the Black Philanthropy Initiative, where would that be without Linda Newton? You know, I'm gonna tell you, nowhere. Linda's been tirelessly behind that. So, you know, I could be here for a while, but, you know, I'm gonna bring her up. It's my friend, your friend, everybody's friend, Mrs. Linda Newton.
My husband and I just recently came back from South Africa, and we had a chance to talk with our brothers and sisters across the country. And we asked them if they, having just recently gone through apartheid and the oppression of many years in that country, which in many ways parallels what has happened in this country, we asked them if they had any advice for people, our people here in this country. And they all pretty much said, don't wait. Uplift yourselves and uplift your communities. And so that's my message for all of us here tonight. Let's not wait. Let's uplift ourselves and our community. Thank you.
Cliff Montero is one of a kind. I think we all know that. But he was committed. He was serious. I watched him up close as vice president for the last 7 years, and I didn't see him doing it for any kind of fanfare, any kind of money or anything like that. He really, really was committed to the people. And I was close enough to really observe that. And I've been observant of a lot of people in Rhode Island, and I can't say that about everybody. Trust me. So Cliff's an original. He's not here. Mike Van Leesten, I think, is here, and he's going to receive the award for Cliff. Mike Van Leesten, another icon, freedom fighter.
Someone talked about labels here tonight, and I was trying to think of a label for Cliff, and I thought about half-crazed at first. But then again, I said, yeah, we needed to be half-crazed in the 60s to do the kinds of things that Cliff did, and some of us did, as we struggled and fought with Bernard and others for our rights. I could say he's a very caring person. I could also say that he had the courage of his convictions. He was consistent with that. He believed firmly in justice. But some of us who might not have understood Cliff, those of us who were in the battlefield with him certainly did. If I could just make this one recommendation to the youth and to the people that are guiding the youth of the NAACP, I would suggest very strongly that you bring your youth around a table with Cliff and some of us older heads, just to kind of share with them some of the history and some of the experiences, to bring it up from where that point is to where they are now, because I think it's very important while we're still breathing.
We fall down, but get back up. We fall down and get back up.
Well, as you can see, it was a very memorable evening and one I won't soon forget. And for those who would like to join the NAACP Province Branch, you can either call me at 521-6222, that's 521-6222, or contact the website, naacprov.org. That's naacprov.org. NAACP Province Branch is an all-volunteer organization. We're looking for a few good people to help us, do the right thing here in our community. So please call me or contact the website. Look forward to you joining us at the NAACP Province Branch, and we appreciate the fact that you watched this program, and we'll see you next week. Bye for now.